Hello all, welcome to the show. And on today's episode of the show, I am going to be telling you why you should not buy freehold land in Epe. And if you've already bought freehold land in Epe, then listen till the end of this video to know what you can do. Okay, so welcome to the show. This is Uche from Ownahome.ng, and Epe has become the new hub for investment, both for commercial and residential. And in fact, people dub Epe as the new VI. Epe is also twice or thrice the size of VI. And so with various projects like the Film City in Epe, you have Alaro City just before Epe, and you have the Lagoon at Epe, very good road network. There are 1,001 reasons. I've not even started to scratch the reasons for which you should invest in Epe. How it links to the Lekki-Epe Expressway, it links to Ijebu-Ode, it links to Ondo State, it links also back to Ikorodu Road. And Epe is amazing. Epe is awesome to invest in. You need to know something because of our Land Use Act, and the fact that all of the land in the state is held in trust of the governor. The only recognizable title that, okay, you've satisfied everything that you need to satisfy is the CFO. Without the CFO, you cannot take a mortgage, you cannot take a loan. There are just very few uses, so to speak, in quote, of land that do not have CFO. And so if that land and that person that owns the land, whether it's an individual or developer, is not looking to get a CFO in that land, then you should be asking some questions. This is a major difference between Epe and Ibeju-Lekki. Now, the major difference between Epe and Ibeju-Lekki is that Ibeju-Lekki is an urban area. Epe is still a rural area. So around 2003, 2006, around that time, when the government announced that they were going to cite a free zone in Ibeju-Lekki that was going to span over 16,000 hectares. That's what people do not know. People do not know that Freehold is not just that free trade zone area that is managed by the Lekki Free Zone Development Company. Dangote Refinery is a free zone. Alaro City is a free zone. That also, that place that you see the entrance free zone, that is a free zone. So all of the free zones, they are spanning 16,000 hectares. And then the government declared that Ibeju-Lekki is an urban area. And what does an urban area mean? An urban area means that every single land in Ibeju-Lekki, there's a global acquisition over Ibeju-Lekki. And so because the government has deemed this area to be an urban area, so every area automatically is of government interest. And so ancestral owners of the land, which you would call, having the status of which you would formally call freehold land, they would now have to go to the government and say, okay, this is the proof that my ancestors have this land. This land was passed on customarily or traditionally was passed on to us. This is our history, blah, blah, blah. And then the government will look at it, and the government will look at the plan that they have for that region. And they will say, okay, out of, let's say, the 100 acres that you have, we want to excise 50 acres to you. And from that excised 50 acres to you, you can now do anything you want on that area. And so that was now called an excision. And so that's why you started hearing lots of land in Ibeju-Lekki, excision land. So the reason why they could get an excision was because everything around in Ibeju-Lekki, because of the fact that government had deemed that area an urban area, every single land overnight became under global acquisition. So Ibeju-Lekki doesn't have anything called freehold land. If anybody is selling you freehold land in Ibeju-Lekki, you're just looking for trouble. But when you now come to Epe, Epe is not an urban area yet. So Epe is still a rural area. So with Epe, you still have committed acquisition, and then you still have uncommitted acquisition, freehold. From your freehold land, you get your registered survey. You can go directly to get your CFO. And so in Epe, what you ideally should, the land status you should ideally avoid is the committed acquisition. I have a colleague that has done various a video on that. Different real estate developers are selling military zone. They are selling different type of committed land, and that's crazy because you're not going to be able to do anything. You're not going to be able to build there. You're not going to be able to sell that land because you don't do your search. But then in an area can be an uncommitted acquisition. The danger of just buying a freehold land and keeping it there is that as Epe is improving, as Epe is developing, and a lot of things are happening in Epe, See the Ijebu-Ode road that has now like 4 lanes, has opened up Epe. There are so many estates coming into Epe. As at last count, it was, as at last year, a particular area, not the whole of Epe, a particular area had over 70 estates. That Igboye side has over 70 estates. New estates are springing up and people are migrating into Epe. So it's only a matter of time before the government can deem Epe as an urban area. And everywhere that was formerly freehold now turns to a global acquisition. And so that what it means is that you have to go to the government and you're going to pay more to be able to ratify that land to either get an excision. And so what will be the wise thing to do is that if you cannot afford the CFO land and you want to buy a freehold land, make sure you are working on the CFO. And a lot of developers that are selling land in Epe right now, especially very, very cheap land of 500k, 700k, 800k, they have no plans to do the CFO. And so if you get the land, they will fence it and you'll be of the idea, or you'll be of the impression that you actually have a land and you go and sleep. At the end of the day, when the jungle matures, whatever it needs to be done on that land will totally and solely be on your head. So if you're buying land in Epe and they tell you freehold, sure and fine, you may not be able to afford the CFO land. Ask them if they are applying for a CFO. In fact, when you hear freehold, the next thing the developer is supposed to say is CFO in view. And if they don't have CFO in view, it means that they are just leaving you to take under that enormous task of going to get your CFO yourself, which you would have to do. Get your CFO yourself. And the thing about getting your CFO yourself is that people that are going for cheap land, 500k, 700k, they are not necessarily thinking of another extra 1 million, 2 million that they're going to spend down the line. They're not thinking of it. And so a few years down the line, you're saying, I thought I bought this land for cheap so that I don't have to do this. So be very, very careful of the fine print. Ask for your file number. Because some people too, they will tell you, oh, there's a freehold land. They have not even done the provisional survey. They've only just bought it from the family. They've not done a provisional survey. If that area, maybe is an agric land or forestry, they've not converted, they've not going to ratify that. They've not done a registered survey. They don't have an approved layout. They'll just tell you freehold. And some will just lie, CFO in progress. But it's a lie. But you can confirm these things. It's not that this is just in the dark that you have to guess. You can confirm. And another thing that people do with this freehold craze is the fact that they also now make you feel like Epe is gonna be a rural area for another decade, 2 decades, and then there's this long time for development. Before real estate developers were telling you, okay, development in 2 years, development in 3 years, this estate will be habitable in 2-3 years. When that stopped working, they're not owning it with their chest. Land will tell you 2030. That's when we'll finish the activation for this project. Some people will tell you in the next 10 years. Some people will tell you buy for your kids. But you should be careful to know that those people that are telling you long time frame, are they just telling you so that they can dump that estate and not do anything there and just wait for development around that side? Because the truth of the matter is that development is happening very, very fast. And you want a developer that is committed to putting infrastructure now, today, with your money. Don't just carry your money and run. Let me see a fence. Let me see roads. Let me see internal linking roads. Let me see lights coming in there. Let me see if you can do a show unit. These are the things that happen, and that is why I'm recommending Adon City. I said all of this to give you context. I can recommend this place because, first of all, it is a freehold land and CFO in process, registered survey, layout approved. Payments have been made already for the CFO, and the CFO is going to be has already been incorporated into the cost. Another thing that I forgot to say. So a developer that wants to sell very cheap and cash out will not incorporate the CFO cost. So let's say you're getting a land from a family 400k, 500k, and you sell it 600k, 800k. Your profit is like 200k. Where would they get the money to go and perfect or get the CFO? So you see the scam of going to buy very, very cheap land. That person doesn't have to. You need to ask the developer, and the developer says, start actually saving to be able to do your CFO yourself. Start saving. That's my advice to you. But with this land, Adon City, CFO is in progress, it's in process, and it's something that you can confirm for yourself. The The developer as well has started and is committed to development there. It's not this one that somebody will just fence. In fact, we are sharing fence with somebody, a developer that said that they are not going to touch that place for another 10 years and they will see how things go. So that's the important thing you need to know about freehold in Epe. And if you still want to buy freehold, just hit us up and book for inspection and get this land in Adon City. It's called the sweetness of nature. Everybody's going green right now, and there's even a 3 trillion naira slush fund for green initiatives. So that's why most of these developers are doing green estates, where you see they can also attract some foreign investors, and of course global warming and stuff like that. Thank you so very much for watching. This is Uche Philip Emodi from Ownahome.ng. Kindly like, kindly share, kindly subscribe, kindly drop your comment. What do you think? What extra stuff do you have to add? And I will see you at the very next video. Bye bye.